The system is starting. You have been chosen to hear this. It is not by accident. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is quick to speak, quick to judge, you are being invited into a space of sacred silence, or a place where there is no opinion, no pressure, no expectations. It is just you and the voice that truly needs to be heard. Today, I have not come to add noise to your life. I have come to remind you, it is in silence that your soul is healed, and your mission
counsel, but this is especially true for age gap relationships. Proverbs faced challenges, but their relationship ultimately fulfilled God's promise. These stories remind us that God can work have different financial responsibilities, or have varying life experiences. These differences can lead to misunderstandings and Couples should make an effort to grow spiritually together through prayer, studying the Bible, and seeking counsel. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin with this. Beware of the quiet ones, those who choose their own company over the noise of the world. Why? Because solitude is strength, and a woman who embraces it is not merely dangerous, she is unstoppable, destined to rise beyond the shadows of human frailty. Let me explain. In a world consumed by validation, constant connection, and unrelenting noise, she is not seeking approval. She is not waiting for someone to rescue her. She is not afraid to confront herself. She is mastering her craft, her mind, and her destiny. Now tell me, doesn't that command your respect? Today, I want you to understand why such a woman is unlike any other. I want you to recognize the strength she carries, the peace she cultivates, and the power she quietly wields. If you've ever thought that time alone is a sign of weakness, I'm here to show you otherwise. This message will forever shift your understanding of solitude. A woman who embraces solitude is not lonely, she is empowered. Her quiet reflection is not an escape, but a strategic pause, a moment to observe, to absorb, and to grow. Her solitude is her sanctuary, not her prison. It is in this sacred space that she discovers clarity, clarity that the world's noise could never provide. It is not merely rest, it is the deliberate act of self-mastery. When a woman sits alone with herself, she faces her thoughts, fears, and desires head-on. There are no distractions, no facts, only raw, unfiltered truth. And that truth becomes her closest ally. In a culture that conditions us to fear solitude, she reverses the narrative. She understands that being alone is not a punishment, but an opportunity, a chance to encounter her truest self. She does not fear silence, she welcomes it, for in the stillness, she can finally hear the voice that matters most, her own. Through quietude, she sharpens her ability to think with clarity and act with conviction. There is immense strength in stepping back from the crowd, if only for a time, to reassess and realign. Solitude offers her a new vantage point, a higher perspective from which to evaluate her life. She makes decisions not under pressure, but with thoughtful intention. Her choices are rooted in her values. She knows that true power lies in preparation, and solitude is her training ground. But don't mistake this for avoidance. It is not detachment, but connection, not to the world, but to herself. From this inward connection, she draws energy, she heals, and she nurtures her soul. She emerges not drained, but restored, renewed in her purpose, and unwavering in her resolve. While the world rushes ahead in disarray, she stands still, grounded in truth, unfazed by fleeting opinions. She understands that a meaningful life is not built on how much you do, but on how purposefully you do it. Solitude also sharpens her focus. Without the constant buzz of external voices, she aligns herself with her own goals. She is not influenced by trends or swayed by the expectations of others. Her direction comes from within. Her vision is clear, her path deliberate, her pace intentional. She recognizes that true success lies not in accumulation, but in alignment, with purpose, with calling, with God. It is in solitude that she builds her emotional armor. By processing her emotions privately, she becomes the master of them. She doesn't react out of impulse. She responds with wisdom. This emotional intelligence gives her resilience. She doesn't need someone else to make her whole because she already is. That realization that she is complete all on her own is liberation. She doesn't chase validation because she validates herself. Her worth is not measured by relationships, possessions, or recognition, but by the deep-rooted confidence that comes from knowing who she truly is. In this liberation, she becomes her own source of strength. Solitude is no longer just a state, it is a tool. It is the workshop where she architects her future. A woman who has mastered solitude has mastered herself. And a woman who has mastered herself is a force the world cannot ignore. She builds an unshakable confidence that comes not from applause or accolades, but from quiet moments of belief. She becomes her own anchor, her own encouragement, her own inspiration. She no longer needs anyone to remind her she is enough, because she knows it. Confidence born in solitude is different from that born of public approval. It is deep, unwavering, like a river that flows steadily beneath the surface. She doesn't perform for others because she's already proven herself to the only person who matters, herself. In a culture addicted to praise, she chooses solitude. She walks away from the crowd, not in fear, but in self-assurance. Her very act of stepping alone is a declaration. I am enough, even when no one is watching. And that kind of belief, it's rare, it's unbreakable, it's been forged in silence, in facing her fears, her doubts, and her dreams, and rising stronger every time. Her confidence doesn't waver with circumstances. She knows she is worthy, not because of how she looks or what she has achieved, but because of who she is. Time alone helps her connect to that truth, to peel away the expectations of society and meet the essence of her real self. And in doing so, she gains the courage to walk into any room and own her space, not with arrogance, but with quiet, immovable grace. In solitude, she cultivates a voice, an inner compass that silences the outside noise. This voice becomes her guide, reminding her of her worth when the world tries to make her doubt it. She doesn't compare herself to others because she's too focused on her own growth. She knows that comparison robs joy, and she protects her peace fiercely. Her confidence is not just something she feels, it's something she radiates. It's in the way she moves, speaks, and overcomes. She doesn't break under pressure because she's already fortified herself in silence. She doesn't let setbacks define her because she sees them for what they are, lessons, not limits. This confidence is magnetic. People are drawn to her, not because she tries to impress them, but because her presence ignites something in them. She becomes proof of what's possible when you take the time to really know and believe in yourself. Her self-assurance is a direct reflection of her solitude, and that solitude is her secret strength. A woman who values solitude cultivates extraordinary emotional intelligence. By removing herself from the world's noise, she gains clarity to explore her emotional landscape. She doesn't avoid her emotions, she faces them. She asks the hard questions. Why am I feeling this? Is this mine to carry or someone else's burden? She doesn't project or react. She reflects. Is this frustration from unmet expectations or borrowed energy? Is this sadness fleeting or does it reveal a deeper truth? Solitude gives her space to answer with honesty. She becomes not just emotionally aware, but emotionally skillful. She processes feelings without relying on others to fix them. She's built tools, journaling, meditation, prayer, reflection, and those tools equip her to meet life's storms with calm, with courage, with clarity. And it's through that same emotional clarity that she connects more deeply with others. Billy Graham once said, "When God calls you to stand apart, He equips you with everything you need to endure." That's exactly what she embodies. Through understanding herself, she understands the world and moves through it with grace. A woman who chooses solitude develops an emotional intelligence that is deep and impactful. She knows when to open up to others and when to take a step back, guarding her emotional well-being with care. Over time, she has learned to set boundaries, not as walls to shut people out, but as protective spaces to ensure her peace. She understands the delicate balance between giving and maintaining her own emotional reserves. This self-awareness extends to her relationships, where she is intentional about the company she keeps. She doesn't cling to others out of fear of being alone, nor does she tolerate toxicity. She values the depth and quality of relationships over the number of people in her life. Her solitude allows her to understand what she needs from others. She enters relationships not seeking someone to complete her, but rather someone who complements her journey. Her emotional intelligence also empowers her to express herself authentically. She communicates with clarity, vulnerability, and respect, knowing that these qualities are her strengths, not weaknesses. Her ability to navigate difficult conversations and resolve conflicts stems from her understanding that emotional intelligence is not just about speaking, it's about listening too. Through her time alone, she learns to master her emotions, not by suppressing them, but by harnessing their power for growth and connection. She becomes a force to be reckoned with, someone who fully understands herself and the world around her. She may have faced failure, perhaps first with her family, then in her career, but these setbacks have only fueled her growth. A woman who embraces solitude develops a strength that is unmatched, rooted in her independence and resilience. By choosing solitude, she learns to face life on her own terms. She relies on herself in ways many would never dare to. Her independence doesn't mean rejecting the world or isolating herself from others. Rather, it's about building a foundation so solid that nothing can shake her. She becomes her own support system, her own protector, and her own guide, proving that she is capable of standing tall, even when life's storms rage around her. In solitude, she discovers the power of self-reliance. When challenges arise, she doesn't panic or depend on others for answers. Instead, she taps into her resourcefulness and critical thinking. She doesn't view obstacles as insurmountable. They are puzzles to solve. This mindset transforms her into someone who thrives amidst adversity, becoming a pillar of strength, not just for herself, but often for those around her. Her independence also shapes the way she handles her emotions and needs. She understands that her happiness is her responsibility. When she feels joy, she owns it. When she faces pain, she processes it. She doesn't rely on others to fill emotional gaps because she has already done the work to heal, grow, and find contentment within herself. This self-sufficiency isn't born out of necessity, but out of choice, the choice to take control of her own narrative and destiny. She develops resilience that is unshakable. She knows what it's like to face silence, to wrestle with her thoughts, and to emerge stronger. Solitude has taught her how to survive difficult times, not because someone held her hand, but because she held her own. She has learned to weather storms, rebuild when things fall apart, and keep moving forward even when the way ahead isn't clear. This resilience makes her unstoppable. Life may throw obstacles her way, but she faces them with calm determination, knowing that she has already overcome so much on her own. Her independence allows her to live authentically. She doesn't make decisions based on the expectations or demands of others. Instead, she follows her own values, dreams, and instincts. She doesn't fear being different or going against the grain because she isn't reliant on others' approval. She values her freedom and refuses to compromise her sense of self to fit into molds that don't align with her truth. This authenticity becomes her greatest strength, a beacon of confidence that guides her and inspires those who watch her navigate life with clarity and purpose. A woman who spends time alone builds a kind of strength that can't be faked or borrowed. It comes from knowing herself, trusting herself, and standing firm in the face of life's uncertainties. She is a living testament to the power of independence and resilience. A woman who needs no permission to be powerful and no validation to be extraordinary. She radiates authenticity, which in today's world is a rare and magnetic quality. In a society where many wear masks or adopt personas to fit in, she stands out because she refuses to pretend. Her time alone provides the space to strip away layers of societal expectations and reconnect with the truth of who she is. She learns to embrace all parts of herself, her quirks, her flaws, her strengths, and her vulnerabilities, without apology. This authenticity is magnetic. It draws others to her, not because she is seeking approval, but because she is unapologetically herself. Solitude frees her from the judgment of others. There is no one to dictate her behavior, appearance, or thoughts. In this space, she is free to explore all aspects of herself. Gentle and nurturing, bold and fierce, quiet and loud, tender and strong, all without the fear of rejection. This freedom allows her to align her inner world with her outward expression. What you see is what you get, and that's exactly how she wants it. There is no disconnect between who she is and how she shows up in the world. Her authenticity is not just about self-acceptance, it is about self-presentation. When she speaks from the heart. When she acts, she does so in alignment with her values. She doesn't bend herself into shapes to fit spaces that weren't made for her. Instead, she carves her own path, guided by her truth and driven by her purpose. This genuine expression of self is rare in a world filled with people trying to meet others' expectations. A woman who is unapologetically herself stands out as a beacon of honesty and integrity. Her authenticity also liberates her from the fear of judgment. Many people hide parts of themselves, afraid of what others might think. But she has already come to terms with her worth. She doesn't seek validation because she has already validated herself. Her confidence is rooted not in fitting a mold, but in the deep understanding that she is enough, just as she is. She doesn't need to justify her existence or explain her choices. She is the author of her own story, and she writes it unapologetically. This authenticity gives her the courage to speak her truth even when it's uncomfortable. She's not afraid to stand alone in her beliefs or values because she knows her voice matters. When she enters a room, her presence is felt, not because she demands attention, but because she commands respect. People are drawn to her not because she is performing, but because there is an undeniable energy that comes from someone who is wholly themselves. A woman who spends time alone isn't hiding. She's building. She's building strength, building her future, and creating a legacy that doesn't need validation to be remembered. So, if you ever meet a woman who values her own company, don't pity her, don't underestimate her. Understand this: she's not just dangerous, she is the embodiment of power. Will you dare to embrace your solitude and unlock that same strength? Thank you. Ladies, let me ask you something. What happens when you lay all your cards on the table? When every thought, every dream, every secret is out there, vulnerable for someone else to hold? Too often, what should empower you becomes a weapon in someone else's hands. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things a woman must always protect: 3 things she must never fully share with anyone, no matter how deep the connection may seem. This isn't about playing games. It's about guarding your power. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why certain parts of your life are meant to remain yours and yours alone. This isn't just advice. It's a shield for your peace, your purpose, and your power. Your dreams, your goals, and your plans for the future are among the most intimate aspects of your identity. They represent your vision, your purpose, and the legacy you're building. But here's something important to understand. Not everyone deserves to see or understand your vision. It's not because you're hiding it out of fear or shame. It's because not everyone will respect it, nurture it, or protect it the way it deserves to be protected. When you share your dreams too soon or with the wrong person, you invite their energy, good or bad, into your plans. And let's be honest, not everyone is rooting for you. Some will smile to your face while secretly hoping you fail. Others will inject their doubts, fears, and limitations into your vision, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because they can't see beyond their own insecurities. They'll project their disbelief onto you, and if you're not careful, you might start believing them. Think of a seed. When you plant it in the soil, it needs time to grow roots, to find its strength before it can face the elements above ground. Your vision is the same. It needs nurturing, protection, and care in its early stages. If you expose it too soon, it risks being trampled on, dismissed, or even stolen. Yes, stolen. There are people who, once they see your light, will try to claim it as their own. They'll take your ideas, your hard work, and your passion and run with them before you even get a chance to build them into what they're meant to be. It's not just strangers you need to be cautious of. Sometimes the people closest to you, the ones you trust the most, can unintentionally harm your vision. They might think they're giving you practical advice or helping you see the bigger picture, but in reality, they're planting seeds of doubt. Are you sure you can handle that? Isn't that too risky? What if it doesn't work out? These questions might come from a place of love, but they can derail you if you're not grounded in your belief in yourself. Let's talk about timing. Timing is everything. There's a right moment to share your vision, and that moment comes when it's strong enough to stand on its own. When you've done the work, laid the foundation, and gained the confidence that no amount of outside noise can shake, then, and only then, can you let others in. By that point, you're no longer seeking validation or approval. You're sharing your vision because it's ready to flourish. But even then, not everyone deserves a front row seat. Be selective about who you bring into your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you in a way that uplifts rather than diminishes, and who genuinely want to see you succeed. These people are rare, but they exist. They're the ones who won't just clap when you win, they'll help you get back up when you stumble. There's another layer to this. Sharing your vision prematurely can also drain your energy. Every time you explain yourself, defend your dreams, or try to convince someone of your potential, you're expending energy that could have been used to take another step forward. Your vision doesn't need to be justified to anyone. It doesn't need permission to exist. It just needs you to believe in it and act on it. I'm not saying you should build your vision in complete isolation. Collaboration, mentorship, and support are vital, but they must come from the right people at the right time. The key is to discern who genuinely aligns with your purpose and who doesn't. Not everyone is meant to be part of your journey, and that's okay. Your vision is your responsibility. It's your gift to the world, but it's also your gift to yourself. Treat it with the respect and care it deserves. Protect it fiercely, nurture it lovingly, and share it wisely. When you do, you'll find that it grows stronger, not just because of your efforts, but because you've surrounded it with the right energy, the right people, and the right intentions. Your vision is a reflection of who you are, and who you're becoming. It's not just about achieving goals, it's about living a life that's true to your values, your passions, and your potential. So guard it, cherish it, and let it shine when it's ready, not a moment sooner. You owe that to yourself. There's a deep strength in vulnerability, but there's an even greater power in knowing when to share your emotions and when to keep them close. Your emotional depth is one of the most valuable and personal aspects of who you are. It's where your fears, your dreams, your experiences, and your wisdom converge to shape the person you become. But not every part of that depth is meant to be shared, and certainly not with everyone. When you expose all of your emotions, you give others access to the most sensitive parts of your soul. For the right person, that access can create deep understanding and intimacy, but for the wrong person, it can become a tool of manipulation. Some people will use what you reveal to their advantage, twisting your fears, insecurities, or even your joys to control or diminish you. It's not paranoia, it's discernment. Not everyone you meet is equipped to handle the weight of your emotions, nor does everyone have the integrity to treat them with care. Think about how easy it is for someone to misunderstand you, even with the best of intentions. You might share a moment of doubt or fear only to have them see you as weaker or less capable than you are. They might not mean harm, but their perception can subtly affect how they treat you, and more importantly, how you begin to see yourself. This is why being selective about what you reveal and to whom is not just smart, it's essential. Emotions are powerful, and they are deeply personal. They are the raw truth of who you are. But just as power must be wielded carefully, emotions must be shared wisely. There's no need to lay your heart bare to prove you care or to earn someone else's trust. True connection isn't built on the amount you reveal, it's built on the depth of what's understood and respected. Keeping certain emotions to yourself doesn't mean you're hiding who you are or being dishonest. It means you're protecting your emotional well-being. Imagine a painter working on a masterpiece. The artist doesn't reveal the unfinished painting to the world because it's not ready to be critiqued, misunderstood, or judged. Your emotions are like that masterpiece. They're still evolving, still finding their form. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to your process. This isn't about closing yourself off or building walls. It's about creating boundaries that preserve your energy, your dignity, and your sense of self. Boundaries that allow you to choose what you share and when you share it. These boundaries aren't just for protection, they're also for clarity. When you keep certain emotions private, you give yourself the space to process them, understand them, and grow from them before allowing someone else to interpret or influence them. This doesn't mean you should never share your feelings. There's a time and place for vulnerability, and there are people who genuinely deserve to see the depths of your soul. These people are rare, and they are earned, not assumed. They're the ones who listen without judgment, who offer support without trying to fix you, and who respect your emotions without using them against you. Finding these people takes time, but when you do, you'll know it's safe to let your guard down. Still, even in the safest relationships, not every emotion needs to be expressed. Some feelings are fleeting, born out of a moment of frustration or insecurity. Others are deeply rooted, meant for reflection rather than discussion. By keeping certain emotions private, you give yourself the opportunity to sit with them, to understand what they're teaching you. Emotions are messengers, guiding you toward what needs attention or healing. If you share them too quickly, you might miss the lesson they're trying to convey. There's also strength in silence. When you choose not to react or reveal what you're feeling, you gain control over the situation. Your silence becomes a shield, protecting you from unnecessary conflict or misunderstanding. It allows you to observe, to listen, and to decide how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Silence doesn't mean weakness, it means wisdom. It means you're prioritizing your peace over the need to be understood in the moment. Your emotional depth is a treasure. It's not something to be displayed for everyone to see or dissect. It's a sacred part of who you are, meant to be guarded with care and shared with intention. By keeping certain emotions private, you're not shutting people out. You're ensuring that when you do open up, it's meaningful and impactful. Protecting your emotional depth is an act of self-respect. It's a way of honoring your journey, your growth, and your worth. So the next time you feel the urge to share everything you're feeling, pause and ask yourself, does this serve me? Does this honor my growth? And most importantly, does this deserve to be shared with the person in front of me? When you protect your emotions, you protect your peace. And nothing is more powerful than a woman at peace with herself. Your financial independence is not just a matter of security, it's a matter of dignity, freedom, and control over your life. It's the foundation upon which you build your dreams, your stability, and your future. Yet one of the greatest mistakes a woman can make is disclosing every detail about her financial situation to someone else, especially too early or to the wrong person. When you share too much about your financial standing, you risk exposing yourself to misunderstanding, manipulation, or unrealistic expectations. There is a powerful reason why discretion in financial matters is crucial. It's about safeguarding your power and your freedom. Money is not just numbers on a bank statement. It represents choices, possibilities. It's your ability to seize opportunities or say no to situations that don't serve you. When others know too much about your finances, how much you earn, save, or owe, they might begin to feel entitled to influence your decisions. They may try to dictate how you should use your resources, and that's where the danger lies. Not everyone in your life has pure motives. Some people, whether consciously or unconsciously, may use your financial openness to their advantage. If they perceive you as having too much, they might expect you to bear responsibilities that aren't yours, or fund things that don't align with your values. On the other hand, if they see you as having too little, you could face judgment, disrespect, or be unfairly underestimated. In either case, revealing too much about your finances opens the door to unnecessary opinions, pressures, and influences that can disrupt your peace and sense of independence. Choosing to keep certain financial details private isn't about secrecy, it's about strategy. Your financial life is deeply personal, and managing it requires focus, discipline, and clarity. When too many voices get involved in your decisions, it clouds your judgment. Everyone has an opinion about money, how to earn it, how to spend it, how to save it, but ultimately only you truly understand your needs, goals, and the sacrifices you've made to get to where you are. Sharing too much can make it harder to stay aligned with your own priorities. Money also reveals power dynamics in relationships. When you're too open about your finances, you risk being seen as a resource rather than as a person. Some may view their relationship with you through the lens of what you can offer, not who you are. This doesn't mean everyone has bad intentions, but it does highlight the need for financial boundaries to maintain healthy, respectful relationships rooted in genuine connection. Another critical aspect is that financial independence often builds confidence and self-respect. When you keep your financial matters private, you give yourself the space to focus on building that independence without outside interference. Whether you're saving for a goal, paying off debt, or investing in your future, these efforts are yours. They represent your discipline, your ambition, and your ability to create a better life for yourself. By keeping them private, you protect the integrity of your journey. This doesn't mean you should never talk about money. Transparency can be important, especially in long-term partnerships where financial decisions must be made together. But even in those situations, the timing and depth of such conversations matter. Financial transparency should come from a place of trust and mutual respect, not from a sense of obligation or pressure. It's a conversation that should happen when you feel secure in the relationship and confident that the other person values your autonomy. Financial privacy also benefits you by setting the tone for how others treat you. When you establish boundaries around money, you send a clear message that your worth is not tied to your financial status. You demonstrate that you are in control of your resources and that your value extends far beyond your bank balance. This creates the space for relationships to thrive based on mutual respect rather than financial dynamics. Your finances are your business, and how you manage them is entirely up to you. By keeping certain aspects private, you allow yourself the freedom to make decisions that align with your values, goals, and vision for the future. You also protect yourself from unnecessary scrutiny, judgment, and interference. Financial independence is a journey that requires focus, determination, and above all, discretion. Your financial well-being isn't just about numbers. It's about the life you're creating for yourself. It's about the power to choose, the freedom to grow, and the security to stand tall in the face of challenges. Protect that power. Guard your financial independence with the same care and respect you give your dreams and emotions. In doing so, you ensure your future is yours to shape. Your plans, dreams, and goals are the blueprints of the life you are building. They represent your aspirations, vision, and the unique path you're carving. But not every blueprint is meant to be shared, especially not before the foundation is securely laid. Revealing your plans too soon can invite unnecessary challenges, distractions, and even sabotage into your journey. Protecting your vision is not about secrecy, it's about wisdom. When you speak of your goals too early, you expose them to opinions, doubts, and judgments that can derail your focus. People, especially those who care about you, might not fully understand your vision or see the potential you see. They may question your choices, highlight perceived risks, or project their own fears onto your plans. While their intentions might be well-meaning, their input can plant seeds of doubt, making you second-guess yourself. This can slow your progress, or worse, discourage you from moving forward at all. Sharing your dreams too early also brings unnecessary pressure. Once you disclose your plans, you may feel an unspoken obligation to prove yourself. You might worry about how others perceive your progress, whether you're meeting their expectations, or how they'll react if things don't go as planned. This pressure can strip away the joy and authenticity of your pursuit, turning what should be a personal journey into a public performance. There's also the risk of unintended sabotage. Not everyone will be supportive of your dreams. Some may consciously or unconsciously try to undermine your efforts. They may criticize your ideas, discourage you from taking risks, or even actively work against you. While this isn't always malicious, sometimes it stems from their own insecurities or fear of change. The reality is that sharing your plans with the wrong person can introduce obstacles you wouldn't have faced if you'd kept your goals private. Keeping your plans private isn't about hiding them due to fear or mistrust. It's about protecting them while they're still in the early stages of development. Think of your dreams like a young plant, fragile, still growing, not yet strong enough to withstand external forces. During this phase, it needs care, attention, and a safe environment to flourish. Sharing your plans too early is like exposing that plant to harsh weather before it's ready. It can stunt its growth or even destroy it. When you keep your goals private, you give yourself the freedom to experiment, to make mistakes, and to adjust your course without the weight of external judgment. You can take risks, try new approaches, and learn from your experiences without feeling like you're being watched or critiqued. This freedom is essential for growth because it allows you to focus on what matters most, your progress and your vision. Privacy also creates space for clarity. When you're not constantly explaining your plans to others, you have more mental energy to refine your ideas, set priorities, and stay true to your values. You can focus on the why behind your goals, ensuring that every step you take is intentional. This clarity is what helps you stay resilient in the face of challenges and motivated when the road gets tough. There's power in the element of surprise. When you achieve your goals without broadcasting them, you protect your peace and command respect. People see the results of your hard work without getting caught up in the process. This shift moves the focus from talk to action. showing that you are someone who follows through on their commitments, not seeking validation or attention along the way. There is a time and place for sharing your plans, but that time should come when you're ready, when the foundation is solid and you feel confident in your direction. Sharing your vision with the right people at the right time can bring support, collaboration, and encouragement. But even then, discretion is key. Not everyone needs to know every detail, and not every aspect of your plan requires discussion. Choose your confidants wisely, and only share what is necessary for the support or insight you need. Protecting your plans isn't about secrecy, it's about strategy. It's about ensuring that your goals remain yours to pursue, free from unnecessary interference or influence. It's about giving yourself the time and space to grow, to learn, and to succeed on your own terms. Your dreams are a reflection of your inner world, your hopes, values, and vision for the future. Guarding them is an act of self-respect and preservation. The life you're building is yours alone. No one else will walk the exact path you're on, and no one else can truly understand the depth of your dreams. By keeping your plans private, you honor your unique journey and protect its integrity. Your actions should always speak louder than words, and your success should stand as a testament to your dedication, determination, and resilience. The emotional vulnerabilities you carry are sacred, holding the deepest parts of you, your fears, insecurities, and past wounds. Sharing them with others, especially without a solid foundation of trust, can expose the most delicate areas of your being without knowing how they will be handled. Safeguarding these emotional spaces is not weakness, but a reflection of your strength, self-awareness, and respect for yourself. When you reveal too much of your inner struggles, you risk giving others the power to use them against you, either intentionally or unknowingly. Some might try to manipulate you, exploiting your fears or insecurities for their own benefit, while others, despite good intentions, might not fully grasp the depth of your emotions and respond in ways that leave you feeling misunderstood or dismissed. True vulnerability requires discernment. It should only be shared with those who have earned the privilege to handle it with care. Opening up too soon or with the wrong person can lead to unnecessary judgment. Not everyone will view your experiences with compassion or empathy. Some may misinterpret them as weaknesses or offer solutions that don't truly address your needs, leaving you feeling more isolated than before. By protecting your emotional vulnerabilities, you create the space you need to heal. This also allows you to maintain balance in your relationships, as revealing too much too early can shift dynamics. Those who become aware of your struggles might start seeing you only through the lens of your pain, leading to an imbalance where they may feel the need to fix you, a role that you may not want or need. Healthy relationships are rooted in mutual respect, and maintaining boundaries ensures this equilibrium. Guarding your vulnerabilities also gives you ownership over your healing process. Your emotional well-being is your responsibility, and part of that process involves creating a safe inner space to process your feelings. Prematurely sharing these emotions can disrupt that, making it harder to focus on your own needs and healing. Healing requires introspection, patience, and self-compassion, which can be compromised if you expose yourself too early to external judgments. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about choosing the right time and person to share them with. When you do, it can be liberating and transformative. But before you open up, ask yourself, has this person earned the right to hear your story? Do they have the capacity to offer support with empathy? If not, wait until you find someone who can provide that. Protecting your emotional vulnerabilities isn't about shutting others out. It's about empowering yourself to process your emotions in your own time without undue influence. Your financial situation is also a deeply personal matter. It's not just about your income, but about your habits, priorities, and the challenges you face. Money can be a tool, but it also carries emotional weight that can affect relationships and perceptions. How you choose to manage and share your financial details is powerful. When you reveal too much about your financial situation, it can create imbalances in your relationship. If you're financially secure, others might assume you can provide for them, which can lead to strained expectations. On the other hand, if you're struggling, some may judge or pity you, which can shift how they relate to you, leaving you feeling diminished. Money is often tied to envy, competition, and negative comparisons. Sharing too much can invite judgment, leading to resentment or condescension. This can weaken mutual respect and create tension in relationships. Furthermore, discussing your finances openly can make you vulnerable to exploitation, with some people taking advantage of your position for their benefit. By keeping financial details private, you maintain control over your financial decisions, protecting yourself from unsolicited advice, opinions, or judgments that may distract or pressure you. Keeping your finances private also helps preserve your peace of mind. Money discussions often lead to conflict, especially when differing perspectives on spending, saving, or investing are involved. Setting boundaries on financial conversations protects you from unnecessary stress and allows you to focus on your goals without external interference. It's about maintaining control over your narrative, ensuring that you make decisions based on your values and priorities. Guarding your financial privacy also strengthens the integrity of your relationships. People who value you for who you are rather than what you have are the ones worth investing your energy in. Keeping your financial situation private isn't about secrecy, but about wisdom, self-preservation, and the preservation of meaningful connections. Your finances are a reflection of your journey, the sacrifices, the hard work, and the lessons you've learned along the way. They are not a measure of your worth, and certainly not something to share casually. By protecting this aspect of your life, you can focus on your future, pursue your goals, and build relationships rooted in mutual respect. Financial privacy allows you to remain in control of your decisions and prevents others from defining your success. Your financial journey is for you to define quietly without needing external validation. In doing so, you ensure that your relationships and personal peace remain undisturbed. In life, strength lies not just in what you share, but also in what you choose to protect. By keeping certain aspects of your life, such as your dreams, vulnerabilities, and financial situation, private, you safeguard your power, your peace, and your sense of self. Privacy is not secrecy, but an act of self-respect and wisdom. It allows you to cultivate genuine connections and avoid those who may not have your best interest at heart. Strength is often quiet. It's in how you navigate life's challenges with grace, how you protect what matters most, and how you choose to reveal your inner world when the time is right.